Welcome back to the Hangar, and this is episode 3 of the Hangar Podcast with me, Miguel Navarro, and my buddy, Luke Steinman. It's been a while since we did our last podcast. What do you think, Luke?
It's been too long, been too long. We're, too busy. Work is just taking us away from this. This should be our real job, but what can we
It
do?
should be. If you guys could tell by our subscriber count, we clearly are not making a big living off this, but you know what? We're going to get there. And by doing that, we got to talk a lot of baseball. There's going to be a lot of hours of baseball we're going to be talking before we get to that point. So I think the best way to do it is just jumping right into it with
I
it being
do it.
so much time. There's been a lot of moves made in the MLB lately. So the first move I wanted to talk about was, well, not really a move. I wanted to talk more about a team because they made two moves. The New York Yankees, they go out, since the last time we talked, they lost out on Juan Soto, and they go out and replace him, make some moves with Cody Bellinger and Paul Goldschmidt. Starting off with Paul Goldschmidt, he was the first move they made. What do you think of that, Luke?
I think was Cody Bellinger the first move?
Was he? I might.
I think it was.
Bellinger
I
was the
think
first move.
Bellinger was the first move. Okay, Bellinger. Yes, I remember because Bellinger was great because he gives them flexibility because he could play center field and play first base, and then they figured it out getting Goldie. I love the get for Cody Bellinger. I feel like I think he said he's always wanted to be a Yankee, which is always a great fit for him. And then it gives an opportunity to make Judge not play center field 162 games because he's a good outfielder, but he just should not be playing center field. And but I think he's a great fit for them. Like just or aura wise, just a great. That's just the name. Like having four MVPs, like that's such a Yankees thing to do. And then also on top of that, like he's gonna benefit really well from playing in that stadium. And I don't know. I think he's gonna look good in pinstripes. No offense to you. I know you love him as a Dodger, but I think he's gonna look good in pinstripes. And I think it's just a great gift for them.
No, yeah, I completely 100% agree with everything you said about Cody Bellinger. With his dad being a former Yankee, and
Yes.
he always would tell stories about him being around Derek Jeter and being around all the guys. I think he was always made to be a Yankee. The reports
Mhm.
were that like Bellinger wanted to go there. Like he was saying
Yeah.
like, what do I got to do to be a Yankee? I love the move. I love that he's gonna go over there. He's gonna continue his dad's legacy, and the fit just makes so much sense, man. What was something we talked about with the Yankees last year? They obviously are coming off their loss in the World Series. The main thing a lot of people were talking about was pretty much, oh, we just got to put the ball in play. Who the Dodgers? Oh, let's put the ball in play. Now,
Yeah.
when you have a guy like Cody Bellinger roaming center field, and you have a great defender and Aaron Judge being able to play his natural position in right field, the Yankees
hmm
defense in the outfield at least looks 10 times better.
Way
Juan
better. Yeah.
Soto is definitely a big hole. Bellinger's going to go out. He's going to play great center field. And the great thing about Cody Bellinger, he's so versatile. You need him to play left field, he'll do it. You need him to play right field, he'll do it. You need him to DH, he'll do it. You need him to play first base, he'll do it. If Cody Bellinger wasn't a lefty, he'd probably play third, short, and second too. That's how
Yeah.
versatile and athletic this guy is. So I love the
hmm
move for the Yankees. Like you said about the short porch, he's gonna hit a lot more home runs.
Yeah.
I had saw this video. I couldn't remember the exact number, but they were showing all the fly balls he hit at Wrigley that would have been home runs at Yankee Stadium, and it was a good amount. His home run total would have looked a lot better on paper if those
100%.
balls were hit at Yankee Stadium. So I love that, and I also want to give ourselves a little pat on the back because we talked about it. I can't remember if it was the first or second episode, but we talked about like how great of a fit it would be and that we want the Yankees to do this. We pretty much the topic was Soto left and what can the Yankees do to
Mm.
improve their team, and Bellinger was one of the first names that came
We
to
called it.
mind.
We called
Yep,
it
we
first
called
year.
it. Yep. We saw it first. We're
Yeah.
the reporters like that. So I want to
Yeah.
give ourselves some credit for that. And I'm really happy that the Yankees are making moves.
Hanger Pod had it first, guys. If anyone
Hanger
had
Pod
it
had it
first, it was
first.
Hanger Pod.
We're going to run Jeff Passan out of his job if he doesn't
Yeah,
pick it
he's
up now.
gone, dude.
So, my mistake earlier saying that Cody Bellinger was the first signing they made, or excuse me,
The first,
Goldschmidt was the
yeah.
first signing they made. The second signing they made was Paul Goldschmidt to play first base on a 1 year, $12 million contract. What do you think of that one, Luke?
I think it's just it fits perfectly because I think it's like putting Cody in center is great for them, and I think obviously he's older. He didn't have a great year. Hasn't had a great like couple years, but his floor is just good enough. I don't think he's gonna be horrendous there. I think it's just a great spot for him to play. Like I don't think he's gonna be MVP Goldie or like he's gonna be like number three in the order, but he lengthens that lineup and he's just a positive force for that team. And I don't think it's a bad move. Like one like for like a 1 year deal, like $12 million, like that's fine for them. That they can afford that. It's not like they're breaking the bank for it. And it's just a really good complimentary move. Like if that was just the only move they made this offseason, they could be like, all right, what are the Yankees doing? But like having that be your third move, and especially for how pricey players are, like that like this is a good gift for them.
Right. Paul Goldschmidt being a complimentary move is like crazy when you really kind of put it into perspective of how good of a hitter this guy was. And also,
Yeah.
can we like not act like Paul Goldschmidt didn't win an MVP like was it 2 years ago? 2022?
Yeah, but he's like been like not he's not been that level at all
I
since. But
completely agree with
still,
that. But like it's also not like this guy's been falling off a cliff for a while. Paul Goldschmidt throughout his career has been a 340 plus on base guy. Last year we saw a big dip in his numbers. That's
uh
100% fact.
he so like he won MVP in 2022, and he had and his on base percentage was 363 is in 23, but it was a 302 last year. Definitely took a dip. But to
Big
be
dip.
fair, he did end the year strong, and also that Cardinals offense was just horrendous last year. Like I don't think anyone in that team besides like Mason Wynn could have hit that ball, and he's a rookie, but like no one on that team could hit a ball like to save their life. So I don't really blame him much for that as well. So new environment, much better lineup, much better stadium to hit in. So it'd be exciting to see. Like we're not expecting the world of him, but like if you could just be a 330 on base percentage, like hit 240, 260, like hit
Literally.
15, 20 bombs, like they'd be happy. They'd be happy for that.
Yeah, considering the fact that he's coming off a 22 home run year still,
Oh yeah, 20.
with that
Yeah.
short porch in left and right field, Goldschmidt, he has a lot of oppo power. I think that right field might benefit from him. I think his numbers are going to look a lot better. And the fact
Mm.
that throughout his entire career, he's been the kind of name in the lineup that he's the one protecting other people. Now he's in a lineup where he's surrounded with Aaron Judge, surrounded with Giancarlo Stanton, as we just spoke about Cody Bellinger, three MVPs, three former MVPs. The fact that he could just slide in, he's gonna probably bat like fifth or sixth in that lineup or wherever they're gonna have him, and
Yeah.
he's gonna just play baseball. He's not gonna have the pressure of him having to be like the big factor. The way I would kind of compare it was, I guess they're completely different players, but I think the idea is the same. When Shohei Ohtani first came to the Dodgers, he pretty much was saying that when he was on the Angels, he like felt more pressure to try to deliver, and when he was on the Dodgers, he felt that freedom, just go out and play baseball. And I think that's
Yeah.
something that Paul Goldschmidt can definitely benefit from going to New York. I
Mm.
love the signing for both sides. And for the Yankees, it's not a big risk. It's not a big risk. Goldschmidt
Mm.
doesn't work out in a year, he's gone.
Yeah, and he's way better than having like having Ben Rice out there. Like it's a marginal difference between him, Ben Rice, and whoever they pull out. Like they're not
Right.
gonna sign Anthony Rizzo, but he was not good at the
He
end,
was
of the
not
year.
good.
So
So, yeah, I mean, that's a nice move. And let's move on. I mean, in the American League, it's been
I think that
Astros and Yankees.
I think this is definitely the biggest trade I think so far the offseason. Kyle Tucker from the Astros to the Cubs for Isak Paredes and Cam Smith. Who, by the way, I love Cam Smith. He was picked it last year in the draft. He's real good. But was it just? Oh, I think there was an arm in the deal too. I don't remember his name,
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. I just
but it
can't
was like
remember
there was like
his
there
name.
was like some throw in arm with it. But great gift for the Cubs though. Like they had a lot of pieces there. This happened before the Cody Bellinger move, but I think this is what kind of prompted that move. But what a gift for them! Like that rotation's good. They want to win now, and this just like puts all the pieces forward. And I think it's just Kyle Tucker is so good. Like he was on pace to get, I think like was it like 10 WAR or it's some like 8 WAR to like if he played like a full year, if he didn't have some dumb injury that took him out. Like I think he played 80 games and had a 4 WAR, something ridiculous like that. And he's just, I love Kyle Tucker. You aren't as big on him as I am, but he's like a 5'6" tool player. Like he can hit, he can run, he can defend, he can hit for powers, he can speed. Like he does everything, and it's just he's gonna make that lineup real good. I think, or not real good, but he's gonna be a huge force for that lineup.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker's a damn good baseball player. I will say that.
Mm.
The argument me and Luke had, I guess it wasn't really an argument, more of like a kind of topic of discussion. So I'm
Discussion,
gonna ask the
discussion.
people that have watched this far in our podcast, do you guys think
Arcadius.
Kyle Tucker is a top 10 player?
Yeah, Octavius, do you think Kyle Tucker is a top 10
Yeah,
hitter in
bro.
baseball
Like
right now?
probably the only person that's gonna watch to this point. Is Kyle Tucker a top 10 player, bro? We'll give you look up baseball reference, Kyle Tucker, and you can
Baseball
make your decision,
reference.
bro.
Um,
So yeah, Kyle Tucker, this guy that pretty much made himself Mr. Consistent. I mean, it's crazy how good he was in just such a short amount of time last year. He got red hot for the Houston Astros down the stretch. Um, October obviously didn't work out for them, and Kyle Tucker's been there his whole career. We'll see how this change of scenery affects him. What do
mhm.
you, what do you think his numbers will compare now that he's playing in a completely different stadium where it's a lot harder to hit?
Yeah, but also to be fair, like before he went down last year, he was like the MVP front runner for the AL.
Mhm.
And I think honestly, like, your numbers are gonna dip playing in Chicago, but I think he's still gonna put up like 30 bombs, 100 RBIs. Like he's gonna like he's just a good hitter. Like I don't know, like I don't think he's really gonna be affected by. And he wasn't. He's a lefty hitter. He's not like hitting like Crawford boxes, and he hits consistently, and it's not just the stadium. I think obviously it'll go down a little bit, but like I think he'll still play to an MVP level. I still think he'll get MVP votes if he plays a full year. So.
Right. So the Cubs, they go out and they make a move. That lineup looks a
Mhm.
little better. I think there's definitely still moves to be made for them. And also part of that trade, the Houston Astros. Normally when a team makes a trade, trading away a guy like Kyle Tucker, you're kind of thinking, okay, maybe that end of that run is, in those great runs they were making how many World Series did they make? Was it 3 or 4? Something crazy. They made a
Yeah.
lot of World Series.
Hmm.
But you're thinking, okay, maybe it's time to restart, start something fresh. For the Astros, though, they actually go out and get a pretty damn good player in Paredes. Paredes, he's been a big power guy. He pulls the ball. I can't remember the stat, but pretty much like 90% of his home runs are pulled. And with the Crawford
It's
box being
yeah.
there, he's going to benefit heavily from that. And the Houston Astros, this is a nice pickup. Nice pickup. What do you think?
I obviously think the Kyle Tucker, like losing him is like huge. Like he's such a good player, and obviously like you're not going to be as good offensively without him there. But he had 1 year left on his deal. You weren't going to be able to re-sign him. Like he's gonna cost upwards. I think we're talking about this too, like how much he's going to go for after the Juan Soto. But he's going to get after the deal. But he's going to go like 500 million. I think he's probably going to get 500 million, and Astros can't afford that. And getting a guy like Paredes who could play third base or first base. He's gonna hit like 20, 30. Like yeah, I think he's gonna get 30 home runs there. Like he's gonna be a good piece for you, and especially now combining that with getting a Christian Walker there at first base. I think this solidifies the corner of your infield for the next 3 years. And dude, like it sucks not having Kyle Tucker, but they put their best foot forward after the fact, and that lineup is still the end of it's still scary. That outfield's kind of whatever, but that first part of like first 5 or 6 part of the lineup is scary, and it's a really good lineup,
Yeah.
and they put themselves in a space where they can still go out and compete this year for a championship, and if things go right, they definitely could. So it's great move for them.
Yeah, not to mention they have really great pitching there. That's been a big cornerstone of their team for a while. Just how great their
Mm.
pitching is, their ability to just randomly bring up a guy and he's a great pitcher. That's my microphone falls off. But yeah, as I was saying, the Astros, they know how to win and they know how to win, it seems like while losing players. They lost George Springer, they lost Carlos Correa. These guys were big parts of their team, yet they've still had continued success. I don't think that story is going to change with Kyle Tucker because they have a nice organization where they're still committed to winning, yet they're doing it in a way that saves them money. I think because, like you said,
Mm.
Kyle Tucker was ready to get paid, and he's gonna get paid. So
Mm.
instead of going out and paying Kyle Tucker that big time money, right? They're gonna go out and they're gonna get Paredes, and then they're gonna go out and sign a Christian Walker, right? A pretty damn good baseball player to a 3 year, $60 million contract to play first base, and with this move, it seems like they're prepared to lose another big cornerstone of that franchise that's been there for so long,
Mm.
and Alex Bregman. So with their new corner infield set, with Walker at first, Paredes at third, how different do you think this Astros team is going to look, and how are they going to perform?
Oh, they're not. I don't think they're going to perform offensively as great as they did last year. I mean, Bregman's really good too, and I mean, so is Kyle Tucker. But it's like the offense is still good in itself. It's not like their first base play last year was horrible with whatever Abreu was, and Singleton. I don't know. He's not a he's not a first baseman. He shouldn't be a starting first
He's got
baseman.
cool bat flips though.
Dude, he has a cool bat flip, and he's going out every time he's going out there. He's going out to swing it hard, like he's putting everything into it. But but I think their offense is not going to be as good as it was last year, but it's still going to be good enough. It's still good. It's still like a competitive offense, and I think it
Right.
makes their offense a little bit deeper. I think they need to. I still think they need to go out and make some moves. But speaking of money, the money is tight for the Astros. Like they have like over $200 million on the books. I think they're like a top 5 payroll.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what moves they make. I mean, they have so much money tied up in the last three of their bullpen. So it'll be interesting to see what moves they make. But I don't know. It's like the AL West is so weird this year with the Astros and the Rangers and my Mariners. Like it's gonna be a dogfight for who's gonna win the AL West. But
Yeah.
Astros are always ready to compete. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, that AOS is wide open to me, in my opinion. And honestly, I think with the Rangers having such an off year this year, I think that, in my opinion, if I were to pick right now who I think was going to win the AOS, I think I'm leaning towards Texas right now. I'm liking the way their team's shaping out.
Yeah. Dude, it's not my fault. My Mariners suck, man.
You know what, man? The best you can do is just keep giving your fandom, you know?
This is how many offseason moves we made so far. This is how many offseason moves we made.
But you guys have been
0.
interested in a lot of players, so we'll give you guys that.
Dude, we're up there with like we're up there with like almost the Giants with like teams interested in except the Giants are interested in like top free agents that are willing to spend money. We're in the bottom of the world. We're like interested in Justin Turner, or the report just came out, they're interested in Yohan Moncada. No.
Oh my God. Yohan Moncada was good like 5 years ago, bro. Come on.
I remember, and that was when I last played it, when they had like all like really good players in the White Sox, when like Tim Anderson was good. I remember they always were like the best team, and now like they suck. I just remember that White Sox team. Remember like in that game, Yohan Moncada was really good, like 5 years ago.
So,
Speaking of the AL Central,
speaking of that,
the Guardians been moved, trading Josh Naylor to the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
You know, the Diamondbacks lose Christian Walker. What are they gonna do at first base? They go get Josh Naylor. I know you aren't as high on Josh Naylor as I am, but
Definitely.
I think he's a good offensive piece. Defensively, horrible, but also you don't need good first base defense to win. But he gives you a good bat. He's gonna get you some home runs. He's gonna get you some power, and you didn't really have to give up much for it. You give up a depth arm that's gonna be your like. Now with the signing of Corbin Burns, like it's gonna be your like 6-7 starter. Like he wasn't gonna really pitch for you anyway for this year, so might as well go out and get an offensive piece, because that offense was so good last year, and like you don't need their offense doesn't hinge on needing a power first baseman like a Christian Walker. Like they can still subtract a little bit and getting a Josh Naylor because he's not as good, but they're still going to be pushing forward positively, I think.
Yeah. So I definitely am not as high on Josh Naylor as you are, but I definitely don't think he's a pushover either. I think the more I thought about it, it was more of like a comparison from Walker to Naylor. It's definitely a downgrade. You know, Walker's a better hitter and he's a better defender. But I like that the Diamondbacks make a move. I love when teams try to show like, you know, they're still willing to compete. And something that I will give Josh Naylor credit for is he is damn good at driving in runs. Like he drove in over 100 runs last year. And when you have a lineup full of top of the order guys like Corbin Carroll and McCarthy, I think was really nice down the stretch, and Ketel Marte, you know, like Josh Naylor is just going to be the cleanup guy, you know, that comes up and he drives in these runs of these guys that get on base. So I love the fit for him in that aspect, because the Guardians are not really been offensively that good, and he's still going out and producing at a high level. And now he's going to be around guys that hit a lot better than the Guardians players. So I love that for Naylor.
Yeah, being a good offensive environment where he's not gonna like bat third in the lineup, or you gotta be a pivotal part. Like you're kind of talking about like Goldschmidt earlier. Like he doesn't have to, or Ohtani, he doesn't have to step up and be like, oh my God, like I have to be that guy in the ALCS for my team, or we're gonna lose. Like you could just bat fifth and just clean up runs. And I think it's a great move. Like they had the money to take on, and they didn't really give up much for him. Like, but also knowing the Guardians, they're gonna take the arm and turn him into like someone insane for them. So and also for the Guardians side, like they really needed pitching and like they really need starting pitching like depth in general because they just got so many injuries last year. So like getting a guy like that for them, I don't even know his name off the top of my head, but good decent gift for them because the Guardians never pay people anyway, and they already have Kyle Manzardo
Right.
and Noel, and they go out and get they go out and get Carlos Santana, so they don't really need him there, especially because their DH spot is clogged up, like I said, with like a Manzardo and everything. So it works for them. They come out with it positively instead of just losing Naylor in the offseason. So
Right. And like I love to say, baseball is great because of chain reactions. When one guy signs, it leads to another thing. So let me try to get this chain right. Goldie goes to New York. There was reports of him possibly going to Houston. Houston pivots. They get Paredes and Walker. They go to there.
mhm.
And because of the Diamondbacks losing Walker, they go to Naylor. And because the Guardians lose Naylor, they go to Carlos Santana. So Carlos Santana is heading back to the Cleveland Guardians. There were reports that he took a cheaper deal to play in Cleveland. Apparently, yeah, I'm gonna say that very calmly and nice and respectful for Luke because I know he's very upset that the Seattle Mariners got
Dude,
finally go out and outbid a team and they still don't end up with the player
we
that they were
spend more
hoping
money
for.
than a team and we don't get somebody that like that just shows like no hitter wants to go hit in Seattle. No one wants to hit there. Our own players don't want to hit there. I mean, it's rough. I think we gave him a 1+1 like player option for more money, and he took a 1 year deal. I think for like $12 million. I think it was 12 to the Guardians. I don't blame him for that. He goes back to his team he started out with. And honestly, like we'll be fine without him as a Mariners fan, but like I just wanted him just for a move and a positive move. Like he's gonna play really good first base defense for them. He's he's a switch hitter. He's not so great from one side, but plays good defense. He's gonna hit you some bombs,
Right.
and it's just I think it's a good gift for them. I think it's a very Guardians
Yeah.
esque move in that range. So they fill up a spot. So it'll be interesting to see what he does this year, especially with like who they have at first base. Like what are they gonna do with the Manzardo and
So
Noel and
yeah, exactly. So definitely a lot of options for the Guardians there. Carlos Santana is, I think, the epitome of consistency, but it's not necessarily a great things number wise. He's gonna go out, he's gonna give you 20 bombs, he's gonna bat like 230, strike out a good amount, but like
yeah.
he's just there, like he's just there. Like when you look at the lineup and Carlos Santana slid in the 6 hole, you're like, okay, that's not like the
Also,
end
just
of
his
the world.
energy, just his vibe. Like
Yeah.
he was a really good like leader and mentor for that playoffs run for the Mariners, and I loved him. I loved him as a Mariner. I saw him hit two bombs at Angel Stadium, lefty and righty. So that was fun to go see.
Angel Stadium. Wait a minute, Luke. Am I having a revelation right here? I've
Hmm.
been to a game where Carlos Santana's hit 2 home runs, lefty and righty.
No way. Wait, really? Were we at the same game?
Was that a game where Julio Rodriguez hit a leadoff home run?
I don't remember. I that was a while ago, but I don't. Yeah,
Dude,
I think because I think he's only done that. Obviously, they don't go to very many Angel
dude, no
games. You were at the
way.
same game,
I think we were because I remember
dude.
or Julio Rodriguez hit a leadoff home run.
And I think it was either a Thursday or a Monday because I remember watching football
Yeah,
after, right? It was
dude.
like
You
Vikings,
know what's
right?
crazy? I don't know. I remember that game so vividly. We're completely getting off topic right here, but this is actually crazy. I remember that game so vividly because I had just gotten a new iPhone. So like literally my very first picture on my new iPhone is
No
that
way.
game. So I'm
That's
gonna have to check the date. We're gonna talk about this
we're gonna talk about
later.
this after.
We're talking about
That's
dude, that's
crazy.
crazy. That's actually crazy. But yeah, Carlos Santana, he goes to Cleveland. This is his third stint with Cleveland. He's been there since the start of his career. So I'm glad he just wanted to go home. I wouldn't be surprised if this is
Yeah.
probably his last year too. Like he's getting
It's
up
like
there in age.
he's like 39, right?
Yeah, he's an old
38,
man, but he's
39.
still consistent. Love that for him. So we've been talking a lot about first baseman. So I think it's time we finally get to the starting pitching market. The big fish in the pond.
Big fish.
Big fish
Charlie
in the
Morton.
pond.
No, I'm kidding.
Char- no, Corbin Burns, man. He's going to the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks. Hell
Dude.
yeah, man. Good
Dude,
job. Good on you. Good on. Yep. Good on you,
as
Diamondbacks.
a as a as a middle small market team myself, as the Diamondbacks are, dude, great for them. Great for the Diamondbacks. Dude, the top two. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about the deal. 6 year, $205 million. It was reported that he was going to get more money from the Giants and what other team offered more?
Um,
Giants was a Mets.
I want to say the Mets.
Mets. Two other teams offered him more, but he took the hometown discount to play in Arizona because he has a house in Scottsdale, and his wife just had twins. I think I think he just had twins. Hometown discount. Has a 2 year opt, and after 2 years he doesn't opt out, but I doubt it because he's going to be making upwards of like 30 million ish. Up like I think I don't know if it was high 20s or high 30s, but no one's going to do that for his age that he's at for 4 years. So he's probably going to stay there for his full career. The rest for for the contract. And what a gift for them, dude. That 1-2 punch of Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen on the top of your rotation, dude. With that, like their offense was already like the number one, number two offense last year, right with the Dodgers, and now you put that with like maybe one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball. Like,
Yeah, I
that
really
is
love the move for them.
disgusting. That is
The
disgusting.
hometown discount, pretty much to simplify everything Luke just said. Corbin Burns just wanted to freaking not buy a new house. That's what I got from that. He didn't want to spend any of these newly $200 million that are going to hit his bank account over the next 6 years. He didn't want to spend that on a house. He wanted to stay home. He wanted to enjoy his family. Good on him, man. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. He deserves every bit of that. Our lasting memory of Corbin Burns was that dominant wild card round performance against the Kansas City Royals. So I love that he's
So
going to go to
good.
Arizona. I'm really happy Arizona's making moves, and Arizona has a pretty damn good rotation. I mean, you
Dude, that
look at the
rotation.
guys that you have up there with Burns, Gallen. Oh, by the way, Merrill Kelly's your number three, and
Number three.
although he was
Yeah.
hurt last year, he was pretty good in 2023. He was the
He's a
number
dog.
two.
And hope back you get it back. Hope. I believe in him still. I'm still a Brandon Pfaadt believer,
Oh yeah,
but it'll be interesting to see what they do. And dude, just like I love the gift for them. Like they were like coming into this offseason, they were already talking about like, oh, they have budget constraints with like because a bunch of teams right now, if you don't know, budget constraints with the networks because a lot of them are like weird deals and stuff like that with blackouts and writing like they might have to like do it themselves. And of course, MLB owners above all sports owners are the most stingy with money and never want to spend a single dime of what they have. So they're already talking about this year going into like I don't know, like they're gonna shed payroll and stuff like that. But then they go out and they go spend $200 million on one of the top five pitchers in baseball. I know we're doing an episode on top 10 pitchers and like whatever like pitchers and hitters, but like
yeah.
this dude is a dog. He's gonna get you like 200 innings at a lower than a 3 yard. Right? Like I have his numbers right in front of me because I was looking at a meme earlier, not a meme earlier, but like um I was looking at a thing comparing him to Bryce Miller because he just had a really good year. So right here he started 32 games last year, had a 194 innings, ERA of 2.92 and the ERA plus of 128 with 181 strikeouts. He's really good. And dude, I just like top one of the top duos in baseball is like him and Gallen. Like that is such a good one too. And they're gonna be really good next year. Like they last year they didn't make the playoffs, but they won more games last year than they did when they made the World Series. And now with that rotation, like
That's actually crazy to think.
they're
That
gonna
into
be
perspective.
nasty next year, especially if what's his name? Oh, he's their best player.
Carroll?
I yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't have like a horrible first start of the year, like also Gino, oh my god, I love Gino. I hate that we traded him away. Like he had a really slow start to the year, like plays a team could be. So that
Yeah.
division race next year is gonna be so
That NL West, that thing that's a dogfight. I mean, just kind of throwing a question out there. The San
good.
Diego Padres really haven't done a lot of moves. The Giants have made moves, and obviously the Dodgers have made moves. Arizona's made moves. Does a move like this, like this, is this like, okay, San Diego, are you guys really the second best team in this division still? Like,
No,
can you make that
I don't,
argument?
no, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think I don't, unless they go and get Roki Sasaki, and even then, I don't know, because I just
it's a fun argument to have for sure.
but their end of the lineup and bench is so bad. It's so bad. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's so bad. But what do you think about Corbin Burns and then
Well, I
him
mean,
going to the Diamondbacks?
Corbin Burns stuff wise up there with anyone
Gross.
in the history of baseball. That cutter is mesmerizing. And something I really love for Arizona, we talked about it a little bit when we brought up Merrill Kelly. They dealt with so many injuries from the starting pitchers and pretty much just consistency from the starting pitcher position in general. Corbin Burns, the last 3 seasons, innings wise, he's gone. Let me just pull this up. He's gone. Well, even we can go back to 2021 because even 167 innings in 2021,
Really good.
pretty really good, and especially
Mhm.
nowadays. But then after that, this is where I really want to highlight it. 2022, 202 innings. 2023, 193 innings. 2024, 194 innings. That's exactly what Arizona needs. And,
Yeah.
and normally when you go on, you're like, oh, we need innings. They go on, they sign like a 3 or 4 guy that's just been consistent. This is a number
Mhm.
one that gives you a
This,
lot of innings. That's what you
yeah.
like. That's perfection. That's what you want out of a starting pitcher. I love
Mhm.
that for Arizona. And the fact that he's close to home, he's going to be happy. Imagine how much happier he's going to be knowing that he's going to get to sleep in his bed after every home game. Like his
Yeah.
home, the comfort of his home with his family. It's going to probably make him
Mhm.
pitch better too. You got to think of
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that when you're analyzing players. So I love the move for Arizona. That rotation is actually sickening because Eduardo
Gross.
Rodriguez, although he wasn't that good last year,
Oh, I forgot about
yeah,
him.
that's put
Yeah.
together some pretty good seasons. Like he's still a very serviceable MLB pitcher, and we obviously got the 2023 World Series legend Jordan Montgomery still in there. So if he could find something to click there, I mean that's 6 pretty solid MLB pitchers that you
I
got.
don't think he's gonna be on the team opening day.
I don't. I wouldn't doubt if he got traded, but if they do were to
No, I
keep
don't
him,
think they're gonna trade him. I think they're just gonna cut him.
you think so? You think they'll
No
just keep
one's
the money?
who's gonna trade for him. He has so much money, and the owner came out and saying that, oh, that was a really bad signing. Like his
Let me
value is
let me
so
bring
low.
let me just bring this up. Obviously, like you said, his value is low, so it's gonna be hard to find a trade partner. He's already
Mm.
making the money, and he really only had one bad year where he didn't even get a spring training. And obviously, we saw what he's done in years past. Like we've been pretty solid. Why not just give him a little bit more run? Just see what happens early in the year.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but
Yeah.
still, like that's fighting for a 5 spot. It's not like he's fighting for like a third spot in the rotation. Like they thought he could be, but I just love it for them. I think
Yeah, either way, great pickup for Arizona. Good on you guys. You guys go out, you make a move. Not you lose Walker, and you go out and you get Naylor and Corbin Burns. Like, you're feeling pretty good about yourselves for something like
so.
that. So
Yeah,
good on you, Arizona. You go out, you make moves. We're really happy. Both of us are really happy, and yeah, nice move. All right, we were talking about starting pitchers. The next starting pitcher we're going to be talking about Walker Bueller, the 2023. Oh my goodness, I am so out of the times. 2024 World Series champion Walker Bueller. He signs with the Boston Red Sox on a 1-year, $21 million contract, I believe. I remember it was very close to what the qualifying offer was.
yeah,
I'm just going to jump right into it, giving my little opinion on this. Walker Bueller, he earned that $21 million solely off of how he did in October in this last postseason. He was amazing. Some of my favorite memories as a Dodger fan, honestly, were some of those Walker Bueller starts, and not even in just 2024. I can name moments of Walker Bueller just, dogging up in the playoffs and pitching big time innings for the Dodgers. So I think although his numbers on the regular season probably didn't earn himself this kind of contract, definitely his pitching in October did. So, what do you think of the contract? I know there's a lot of people arguing like there's no way this guy should get $21 million for the way he pitched in the regular season. What do you think of it?
I think the qualifying offer like that money is. I think it's a lot, but I think it's worth for his services. Like this dude just he dominates in the playoffs. Like they're not paying him for the regular season. They're paying him to have him play in October, and I think he's like historically like one of the best like pitchers in the postseason. Like he's really good, and I think it's just a good spot for him to go to. Like he doesn't have to be the number one or number three at all. Like he could just be the number five guy on that team, I think, and could just he's gonna coast through that regular season, and then when the playoffs are there, I think he's gonna be able to there. He's gonna be needed there for them, and I think it's a good like change of scenery. Like it sucks. Like obviously like that dude he is a Dodger like at heart, but I think it's a good get for the Red Sox. Like he's still gonna compete day in every day he's gonna go and compete. Like I didn't think he's gonna go. Like the A's wanted to offer him a contract and he was like no. Like he wants to go compete. So good for the Red Sox. Good for him. I I wish nothing but the best for him.
Yeah, Walker Buehler, he's got that big market mentality. And the best way I could describe Walker Buehler is like Mariah Carey around Christmas time, bro. It's like the whole year you don't hear a damn thing about him because, like he's struggling, he's dealing with injuries. Mariah Carey's getting up there in age. But when December hits for Mariah and October hits for Walker Buehler, they defrost and they're ready to be performing at their best. So I love that for Buehler. Quickly, just wanted to cover his numbers. He's had a very unique road. He dealt with a Tommy John injury before he really made it to the majors. 2018, 19, 2020, 21, he was a top pitcher in the game. 2022, he struggled. That's where we saw him get the injured. Missed all of 23, struggled in 24, but found himself in October. So I definitely think there's something to unlock in Walker Buehler. And just off throw the numbers out the window, man. Just off of mentality and things like that. Walker Buehler, he's the guy you want on the mound, he's a guy that he'll get you running through a wall in no time. So I'm really excited for him to go to a place like Boston where the fans are just as passionate as Dodger fans, if not more. And they want a winning team. They want to perform. And I think Walker Buehler is going to fit in so nicely there.
Mm-hmm. And I think that rotation was already pretty good last year, and they heavily invested into it.
Good on Boston. We'll give the same way we gave the Arizona Diamondbacks their credit. We're giving Boston their credit. That rotation, just quickly throwing out the names: Garrett Crochet, Brian Bello, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Cutter Crawford. People are also forgetting Lucas Giolito's expected to return at some point.
Oh,
Patrick Sandoval is going to come back about halfway through the year as well.
No, out for the year.
Is that really?
Out for the year.
Wow.
Also, we never talked about. We also never talked about Garrett Crochet. I don't think, did we?
Oh, we did. I do remember that.
Okay. Well, I was like, I stood for a second. I'm like, did we talk about Garrett Crochet?
He signed a 1-year contract. He signed a 2-year contract.
Yeah, it's the same thing that Brandon, pretty much like what Brandon Woodruff got with the Brewers. Obviously, like more money.
I'm reading something right here that they're pretty much, if he were to come back, it's gonna be like very end of the year type of thing.
Yeah, it's just like he's gonna just rest. Like they're just paying for him services next year on a cheaper deal. And
so yeah. Either way though, despite Patrick Sandoval, still a nice rotation. So moving on to Walker Buehler's World Series champion teammate, Teoscar Hernandez. He gets his contract as well. We were waiting on him for a while. He gets a 3-year, $66 million contract to return to Los Angeles. And simply put it, man, he didn't want to play anywhere else. LA is his new home. I mean, if you watch that speech he gave at the Dodgers parade, I mean, that was pure passion. He threw away all leverage and any sort of negotiation because he's like, I want to be in LA. This is where I want to be. And he even said in his introductory press conference, and just want to throw out there, it's been like a while before I've seen an introductory press conference for a guy that re-signed. That was a little weird to me. but he comes back and he basically was like, I left a little bit of money on the table to return to Los Angeles. So I think it was always going to be the Dodgers. What do you think, Luke? With him being a former Mariner as well, this might break your heart a little bit.
No, good for him. He has like his worst career year in Seattle. It's just the most Mariners thing ever. I mean, good for him. He's putting up prime Teo numbers, and just like as a fit, like the fans love him. He loves it there. Like there's nowhere else where he would have been more loved and more wanted than with them. But it also just it confuses me. Like we were talking about this a little bit at work. Like it like they put them in such a bind for them when they got Michael Conforto. Like they're really stacked out there. They're gonna run out of room for like a Dalton Rushing or who's the guy you love that I don't like? Sorry for that.
Outman?
Outman. Outman's like not definitely not getting ABs now unless there's like injuries and stuff like that. Like it's interesting now like what they did, but also like they got him for a good price point, Teo. Right. So great for them.
Yeah, the Dodgers, they're buying into running it back. I think they were trying to bring back as many of those guys as they can, while still like still making sense. Like obviously Walker Buehler coming back really didn't make sense because they have pitching for days. He doesn't really fit in anywhere, but like guys like Blake Trinan, Teoscar, even Kike, he's gonna have to come back. They go on. They also got the Korean guy. We're not gonna cover it too much, but the Dodgers have a surplus of guys. A move's gonna be made. I covered it a little bit in the video I made on TikTok about Kim. The Dodgers have like 7 bench spots, and there's only 4 that they can really fill. And
Yeah.
Austin Barnes has got to be one of them, considering he plays catcher. So the Dodgers are in a bind. I expect them to make a move with signing Teoscar. That just adds some more people in their team, and Conforto, obviously, like you stated. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Dodgers do. So when the Dodgers go out and they make a trade and they trade like Chris Taylor and Miguel Rojas for like potato chips, I want you guys to remember this moment because it's probably coming sooner than later because Kike Hernandez. Listen, I'm getting off topic. I'm rambling because it's the Dodgers and like I get passionate about it. But Kike Hernandez, if you're watching this, man, you got to come back. Like we cannot lose you again. Please come back. Right.
He's not coming back. Yeah, by the way, Haesung Kim, the guy, Korean guy you're talking about, another guy that the Mariners were interested in and didn't get. I mean, he's kind of buns, I think. I don't think he'd be great bat wise, but he played good second. So he'll play really good defense second base and steal bags. That's it.
Yeah, literally. And you know what? Whatever kind of pinch hit production he can bring, that'd be nice too. So with that being said, I think we hit everything pretty good there. Was there anything else?
I wanted to talk to you about Luis Arraez. This is not it's kind of like a topic that's been talked about recently, and it kind of dives into like you and me talk about sports. We don't really talk about our identities and like how we value and like see players. Like a player like Luis Arraez really digs deep into like what you view, like what you see in the field numbers wise. What's your opinion on Luis Arraez?
Okay. So I actually, when you brought this up to me, not even that long ago, I was like, I have the perfect answer because this is the first thing that came to mind. So Luis Arraez, as we all know, this guy was a guy that was like, we were like, was it 2 years ago where we were like, this guy might bat 400 in the season, right? Yeah. He hits, gets on base at an insane clip, doesn't play good defense at all. He's not fast. He doesn't have a lot of power.
Doesn't walk.
He doesn't walk. He doesn't strike out either, and he puts the ball in play actually an insane clip. I'm gonna I'll find it later. So I just focus on this. This is the thing with Arraez. His numbers are gonna look good because of his average. He's gonna get a lot of hits, and his on base percentage is always gonna look pretty good, considering the fact even though he doesn't walk, he gets so many hits that it makes his on base look pretty solid. But my opinion on Arraez is this: when the Dodgers played the Padres in the playoffs, me being a dire Dodger fan, I watched pretty much every pitch of that series. And Luis Arraez was really bad. And I remember looking to my dad watching these games, and I'm saying, just give this guy a fastball in the zone. He's not going to get a hit right now because he's struggling so bad. So the thing with Arraez is when he gets in those streaks, he's pretty much worthless. He's worthless if he's not hitting. He's simply not useful to your team if he's not hitting, because he's not doing anything else good. So, do I think Arraez is a good baseball player? Yes. But do I think he should be put in the same echelon with any of the other great players in the game? No. Would I give him an $100 million contract for like 4 or 5 years? I don't think I would. I don't think I would.
No, I don't think anyone. I don't know. That's not really like the contract thing, but like, I don't know. He's such a weird player. I only bring him up because I know they're talking about trades, and specifically, I know he's talked about being traded to Seattle because Seattle needs anyone who doesn't strike out and then can put the ball in play and can play first base. I mean, he's also horrible at defense, but I would want him to play first base for my Mariners just because he doesn't strike out, right, and he puts the ball in play. He'll consistently put the ball in play. And I think that's valuable, especially to what certain team you're on as well. Every team fits. He wouldn't fit on the Dodgers at all. He wouldn't fit that team. But
exactly.
A team like the Mariners, I think he could fit. And it's interesting. I saw some posts today. Do you remember that game Shohei Ohtani had a grand slam and he had he went off 3 home runs or some shit against the Marlins?
Oh, was that the 50-50 game?
I think it was a 50-50 game. He accrued 0.7 WAR that day.
Uh-huh. And
for the entire season, Luis Arraez had a 1.2 WAR, 1.5 or something ridiculous like that. And I am such a stats nerd. That baseball game I tell you about, Out of the Park Baseball, I play a lot. It's all stats and I'd love it. But
Out of the Park Baseball.
Shout out that. Sponsor us. I play that game. But put it on stats wise, but I think just putting the ball in play and hitting at such a high clip, it adds some value. But I don't know.
Look, I want to make this point because you said it best. I was thinking this in my mind, and you took the words right out of my mouth. Fit is everything about Luis Arraez. You're not gonna trade Luis Arraez to a team that lacks like power. You know, like a team. What's a team that lacks power?
Guardians.
Like the Guardians. Like if he went to the Guardians, he'd be useless. Like he'd actually make like that'd make no sense. But if you put Arraez on a team like the Yankees or even the Mariners have a lot of guys that hit for power, but they're not necessarily, pushing the envelope on pitchers. They're not really putting these crazy good at bats together
Striking
consistently.
out a million
Yeah,
times.
striking out a bunch. So like a team like the Mariners, a team like the Yankees, and I think a team like the Padres because he's surrounded with so much pop behind him. Like those teams work, but a Rise needs it's he's such a special player. Like he needs to be put in like a special situation for it to work out. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't work on just any team, but some of the teams that are interested on him, I think understand that too. So I'm glad that the teams that are interested in him are like the teams actually like pursuing him because they need guys to get on base. You know what I mean? Like the Yankees, big thing was their strikeout, right? Like Verdugo and Jazz Chisholm. Like these guys are not guys that were getting on base at high clips last year. Arraez definitely would have benefited last year's Yankee team. So I could see them making a move for him. I could see the Mariners. But with all that being said, I have a feeling he's not going to get moved from San Diego. What do you think? Do you think he'll actually get moved?
I think he will because I think they're in a little bit of a like a budget constraint over there because RIP to their old owner. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names.
Peter, can't remember his last name, but
yeah, but something with an S, I think. I don't know. No, I'm thinking of the NFL reporter, Peter Schrager. But they don't have as much money as they did before, and I think they're like project like a bunch of money with all the huge contracts they handed out. So I know they're like looking to shed payroll, and he's like he is costing them like $12 million. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what they do. But
and then also there's like a blockage almost. It feels like because second base. Well, I guess right now there's really no. For example,
there's
why am I blanking?
Hyun Kim.
Bogarts was playing shortstop in the playoffs, so
yeah, and then second was Ha-Sung Kim.
Right. So and then Cronenworth's over at first. I think a move could work there, but the Padres, I don't know, they're confusing me. Like, that's a whole different topic of discussion. I really
different
love
story.
the question though. Yeah, because that like it's interesting. It gets you thinking. Like you're just not casually thinking like, oh, is Luis Arraez worth this? Like it's almost like something that has to get brought up for you to kind of really like, oh, wait a minute. He's really not that good of a baseball player as we think,
Yeah.
So I love that question. That was a really great question, and it gets you thinking. So if you watched it this far in the video, Octavius,
and his girl Brianna.
if you're watching this far, let us know. Is Luis Arraez that great of a baseball player? Is he?
Also that guy who ordered a burrito who we made subscribe. Yep.
If you're watching,
maybe my dad. I told him to watch it, and he said no. No, I'm kidding. But I'm gonna make him watch this one.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, we're getting toward the end. Something I wanted to cap off the end of our podcast, which I want to say real quick. I think this was probably our best one. I think it's really good.
Best one, yeah.
Yeah, it's been good. So I want to end it with rapid fire. I have a list of names. I just want you to give me the place you think they're going to end up going, or if not, moved at all, because some of these are trade candidates. And, oh my God, I'm blanking. And one reason why. There we go. Let's go. Alex Bregman.
Oh, I don't. You go first, Bregman. I don't know.
Okay. Tigers, because AJ Hinch is the manager. Only reason why.
I don't like him in that ballpark. I don't know what market teams he could go to. Like, I think it's too much of the Yankees. I don't know. Like, off the top of my head, Mets. One reason, Steve Cohen.
The Mets is like, that's a nice pool because like, who's thinking about, because Vientos could play first, right?
Yeah, and then they don't have to pay Pete.
Wow, Pete would. I would prefer Bregman over Pete.
I think so too. Yeah. Oh, is Pete gonna be our next? Is Pete the next one?
Okay, yeah. Well, he wasn't gonna be. He's on the list, but since you brought that up, Pete Alonso, where's he going?
I don't know where he's gonna go now. If we say, oh yeah, you know what, Mets, because Steve Cohen, Mark Vientos can play third, or he can play
That's cheating, bro.
DH.
You're saying that they're gonna get Bregman or Bregman or Pete.
Well, I think Pete's gonna go to the Mets regardless. I just don't know where. I don't
Do
know
you
where.
think if they get Bregman, they'll get Pete also?
I don't know. I don't. Steve Cohen could do it once. He could do. He's gonna start deferring Mania deal.
Can Pete DH? Yeah, right. They don't have a good DH.
Yeah, he can DH. What are they gonna?
Wait a minute, Luke might be on to something, bro.
I'm cooking here as you know. When you have Steve Cohen money, you can really cook.
So Pete Alonso for me, Mets because
There's no other teams he's gonna go to.
He was the heart and soul of that team. So I
also like
bring him back.
No one's gonna pay that much money. Like I would love him to be a Mariner, but like Mariners are not paying him that much money, and I wouldn't want to pay him that much money anywhere, for sure. Okay, next one.
Next one, we'll go Jerickson Profar.
Jerickson Profar. Ooh, I could see him going to maybe the Astros. Or you know what? I could see him going to a team like the Royals or the Tigers. I think I could see him going to one of those NL Central teams or AL Central teams because they have a little bit more money to spend and they want to push their chips forward. I could see him going to one of those teams.
Okay. I like that. I'm gonna say Padres because he literally sucks everywhere else he plays. That is
that's a good reason. I just don't think they're gonna spend any money. But yeah, my reason, AL Central, reason they have money to spend and they want to win, want to push forward. Okay.
What was that?
Anthony Santander.
Oh, that was what I was gonna say. Anthony Santander. Where's he going?
I think he's gonna go to Houston. I think Houston really needs outfield help, and I think if they don't get Santander, maybe they'll get Profar. I think it's gonna be one of the two. But I think they really need outfield help. Their outfield is horrid now without Kyle Tucker. So that's my reason.
Okay, I'm gonna say Blue Jays because they need a DH and the fact that they literally cannot. There's no way they just keep missing out on everyone. That's my reasoning.
I feel like Blue Jays are gonna like overpay him a lot more than he's worth, and then he's gonna be horrible. Like not horrible, but he's not gonna put up 40 home runs again.
Right.
He's gonna put up like a cool like 25, and all Blue Jays fans are gonna be...
or else their fans might overthrow the government there.
Yeah, the Canadian government.
Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty. Ooh, I don't know. What team. What do you think?
I say Orioles because Charlie Morton's not enough. So that's my.
What do you mean Charlie Morton's him, dude? Only 41.
Like 30 years ago, man.
He's only 41, man. So he's still got so much time left. I think they have too many people there, too many pieces. I mean, they signed that one Japanese guy too. I forgot his name a little bit ago too. I don't remember his name. Where's he gonna go?
Wasn't it like an older guy?
Yeah, and he throws a good.
I know who you're talking about.
He does a really good meatball. His fastball. I think it throws like 91, 92. It's so gross. What's he? I'm trying to think. What teams need starting pitchers and then have money spending on Flaherty? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think of a team. I don't know. Angels? Okay.
Angels? I mean, he's a West Coast guy.
My first thought was the Tigers are going to go back, but they already have a good rotation as it is. They don't need to add a fifth.
But they don't really have a lot of depth, right?
No, they got some guys down there, and AJ Hinch likes to like mess around anyway and like maneuver his way, open his way, maneuver through or something anyway. Royals already have stuff. Guardians aren't going to spend money. White Sox aren't going to spend money. No AL West team really needs a pitcher unless you're the A's. But I don't. Maybe the A's shell out money.
They worried on Buehler.
Jack Flaherty going to the A's just because they need to spend money, or they're going to get like tortured by the mayor. Like,
yeah. I mean, okay. So there you go. The A's, is that your answer?
That's my dude. Imagine like that's the one I get right. Like Jack Flaherty going to the A's.
Literally, dude, like the most random one. I don't think he's gonna. I think honestly, you brought up the Angels, and I don't hate that because he's a West Coast guy, and the Dodgers really don't need him. Maybe he likes staying close to home.
That would be such an A's thing to do, is get Jack Flaherty and be like, "This is what's gonna put us over the hump."
Right.
Mike
So
Trout's gonna come back for 160 games. He's gonna play it a 10 more season, and Jack Flaherty's gonna win AL Cy Young, co-Cy Youngs
yep.
with Kyle Hendricks.
Oh yeah, and then Shohei Otani's gonna change his mind and go back.
Yeah, and then Yusei Kikuchi's gonna throw a 2.23 ERA.
Exactly. Okay, so there's your answer. Last free agent, and then I'm gonna give you 2 trade options. Call it a video. We did really good today. Oh my God! Wait, I just ran across a name, and now I want to bring it up. Tanner Scott. Big
Tanner
name.
Scott. Oh, Yankees.
Yankees.
Yankees. They're gonna have an insane 1-2 punch at the end of their bullpen. Reason Yankees have money to spend. Yankees cannot not spend money because they were willing to shell out so much for Soto. So
Okay. My answer, Mets, because I'm gonna steal your answer. Steve Cohen. They need back end bullpen help.
they do need some bullpen help. I don't know if Edwin Diaz is gonna be it. I don't know, man. I think he had his prime.
Okay. We'll just finish on this one right here because he's been in the news a lot. Gavin Lux.
He's gonna go to the Mariners, and I hate it.
Mariners?
Mariners because it's the most Mariners move ever.
But Luke, he had a 900 OPS in the second half of the year, man. It was good.
Once you start, I was thinking about this earlier because I follow like these Mariner guys on Twitter, and they're like, oh, well, after like July 1st, he put up a. If you have to start pulling numbers off of, like a little bit of times to justify a player, like
Yeah, like,
something's gonna off a little like.
On the
I was doing
Sunday
this.
and every
You're coping. You're coping like when it was the same thing with Randy Rosarena. Like, well, he had a really bad first month, but after the fact, like he would put up really good numbers. Yeah, he didn't finish with good numbers either. Like, I don't. I just Gavin Lux doesn't move the needle. I would rather just roll out Ryan Bliss.
Wow, that's a bold take.
I'm also a Ryan Bliss believer. I love Ryan Bliss. I was a believer ever since he was a part of the Seawall deal.
Wow, that goes back a little bit. So Gavin Lux, he's staying. He's not going nowhere. Listen, the Dodger front office. Why is no one taking into this account? The Dodger front office has literally said our middle infield is going to be Mookie Betts and Gavin Lux. I don't think they're going to just change their mind all of a sudden because they brought in a Korean guy that we don't know if he's going to hit that good yet. So Gavin Lux is not going to go. Will he be traded possibly at the deadline or even in next year's offseason? I think so. This is Gavin Lux's last year to prove himself. That's
I don't know. I think we talked about this out. We talked about this at work. There's a 26-man roster, and I don't think he fits into that 13 on offense.
You don't think so? I think he's our starting second baseman right now. So
I think
real quick, I wanted to say this. We're gonna have 4 bench spots. I think our 4 bench spots next year is gonna be Hyseung Kim. It's gonna be Austin Barnes. It's gonna be Kike Hernandez, and it's gonna be Andy Paez. And I think Chris Taylor and Miguel Rojas are gonna get moved out.
Yeah, I don't see Miguel Rojas being there. That was so funny. Like when they said that Mookie's gonna play short, he's like, "Oh, dude, I got you in the middle infield this year," and I'm like, "Ugh, man, I don't think you're gonna be there."
Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him?
Who's gonna tell him?
All right, man. I think we covered everything. It was a great video. I think this was, honestly, I had a lot of fun this time, and I'm excited. We got to keep staying consistent. This was good. For everyone that watched,
Sir.
let us know what you guys thought. We threw some questions out there, so comment below what you thought. And Luke, you have anything to add?
Nope. I want Octavius to comment. Octavius, I need you to comment for me. Get our engagement up, okay?
Get our engagement up.
Send it in the work group chat. I need everybody to start watching this.
But yeah, awesome then. Thank you for everyone that watched to this point.